And welcome to my video where I'm just going to show you a little bit about how I edit, how I use my preset and how I achieve the look I do when I'm editing. I've tried to choose a selection of images here with different lighting scenarios, different colours and tones, just to give you a real idea. So looking at the side here, we've got the preset pack. So I've got my main base, which is my go-to starting point. Golden hour, which is pretty self-explanatory. Indoors, I don't use that every single time I'm indoors. If I'm in quite a light space, it's quite a clean space and open, airy, I wouldn't use it. But if I'm in somewhere like a teepee or a church, or they're getting ready with the lights on and it's dark, that is when that indoor preset really comes to life. And then night and flash, again, self-explanatory. I would use that typically dance floors when I'm using on camera, off camera flash, etc. My two black and whites, and then my toolkit. So I've got auto straighten. I do love my auto straighten. It doesn't work on every single image, but sometimes if you've got an horizon or a building or you just want to straighten it up, it can do wonders. But as I say, it's not amazing on every image, but I find it really useful to have. Add and remove grain. I love grain. I wish I could use it on all of my images, but I obviously don't. And I just like the option to be able to add it in and take it out if I want to. Noise reduction. So this one, if my ISO is really high and it's a really noisy image, you can just pop the noise reduction on and it really cleans it up for you. And then orange skin fix. So if I'm just struggling with the skin tone, maybe their skin's a little bit orange, you use that and it brings the orange down. So with this one, I would just start with my main base. I did underexpose. So just to tell you, typically I do underexpose when I shoot. Normally 1 or 2 stops. It's just personal preference. I find if I underexpose that I don't lose any details in the sky, and if you overexpose, that's where you risk losing certain details. So I've just got into the habit of underexposing, and if you're exposed correctly or you overexpose, it's not going to affect, the preset isn't going to affect how you edit. It's still going to work for you. I just wanted to explain, as we go through, I lift the exposure a lot on my editing, and that's because I underexpose as I shoot. So once I've popped my preset on, I need to lift the exposure. I'm going to drop the pinks a little. I feel like her skin's a little bit pink. I think I'm going to go to 5. I'm going to warm it up. It's a bit too cold for me. I'm going to crop it because I really like symmetry in images and I want them to be kind of even. Like that alone is pretty beautiful. Like if we compare, wow. Like the tones, the colours, the creaminess. I love that image, I really do. It looks beautiful. And we didn't even have to do much. So this next one, again, outdoors, but different kind of light, different colours. I'm going to start with my main base. I actually exposed this one fairly bright for me. So I'm going to drop the exposure a little because I feel like it's a bit bright on his face. This bride actually had a spray tan before her wedding, so she has got more of an orangey skin tone. You can see if I put orange skin fix on and you look at her skin, it brings the oranges down. I personally would leave the orange in because that was her desired look. If we just compare that was one click and I dropped my exposure and it looks great. So I personally, with my preset, I like the colours to be quite natural. I don't want the greens to be super bright. I don't want them to be super desaturated. I just want them to look like they are, natural but better. You'll notice that as we go, like you can see here. So this next one is a ceremony. It was outdoors and under a marquee. I shot it on my 135, which is one of my favourite lenses. I just love the bokeh. So we're going to start with the main base. It's dark, so I'm going to lift it a little. Obviously they are orange, so I'm going to drop the temp. Oh, that's too cold. A little bit more. There we go. I love the way the preset brings out the whites and the cleanness. So if we compare, really makes it pop, doesn't it? So the next one, I've got these lovely gents. Again, I'm going to pop the main on. I'm going to lift the exposure because I underexposed again. they're obviously too warm. So temp down. I feel like they might even be a little bit pinky for me. So pink down too. Typically when people are wearing black, I tend to drop the shadows because I like black suits to look black, but that's just personal preference. You could auto straighten this because there's a building. Let's try it. I think I prefer it without. Let's have a compare. Yeah, looks great. Really happy with that one. If we move on, I chose this one because I love the browns and I love what the preset does with browns and tones, so I wanted to include it. So again, I'm going to put my main on. I really want to crop this because I don't like that they're not in the middle. Without even doing anything, you know, I could potentially lift the exposure a little. And if we compare that, just look at the skin tones and the browns. It's so nice. I don't even really think I need to do much more. One click and a little bit of exposure. I'm quite happy with it. Really nice. This one is an example of where I'd probably use my indoor one. So I'm going to pop the indoor one on. I'll try auto straighten, but I don't know if it's going to work because of there's so many lines happening in this image. Yeah, see, I kind of think it's better without. I do want to crop it because I don't like that they're not in the middle. Kind of want table vibe. I feel like it might still be a little bit too warm, so I'm going to cool it down a little. I don't want to take too much warmth away because I feel like teepees have that warm vibe anyway, and I don't want to kill the vibe. So if we compare the main to the indoors, so indoors, main, if you look at their skin, you can see indoors, main, it just lifts the oranges. We have a little compare. So much brighter and cleaner and really nice. That indoors one works so well. Spaces like that. Golden hour. So I've got my golden hour. Gonna one click it. I do love a little bit of contrast in golden hour photos, so I would probably bump my contrast a little. If we compare that alone, one click and a contrast bump, like the light was beautiful at this wedding, stunning golden hour photos. But yeah, I think that's good as it is. Just one click and some contrast. Looks really good. Really gives it that pop and that wow, doesn't it? So this one, I chose this one because I liked the building and I wanted to just show you how the preset sat on the image. So if we put main base on, potentially could auto straighten it. There's a lot of lines happening. It does straighten it, as you can see on the stairs and the top of the building. But I did shoot fairly straight without too. So I'm going to lift the exposure because I underexposed, obviously. Drop the pinks because I feel like their skin is a little bit pink for me. Oh, that's too much. I might warm it a little. And let's just compare that. There we go. It's nice. I love the whites. It's one of my favourite things in the presets is like the cleanness that the whites bring. This one. I feel like this might be a one-click image. Let's go on main. The reason I chose this image actually is because I feel like greens is such a massive thing in editing for photographers. It makes a preset, and with my editing preset, my greens aren't really bright or really desaturated. You can see it just kind of enhances them as they are. That wasn't a one click because I feel like it's a little bit bright. So I'm just going to drop the exposure and I might drop the tint. And if we just compare that. Oh, please tell me I'm not the only one whose computer just freezes all the time in Lightroom. I don't even have a slow computer, but Lightroom hates me. So here we go. Yeah, do you see what I mean about the greens? It just enhances it as it is. It doesn't entirely change the colours. It just enhances what's already there. But oh, I don't know what it is about this image that I just love. I just adore it. So we move on. This one was in a really dark church. My ISO was 1600 and I was only at f1.4. and I was underexposing a little. So I would probably start with my indoors because the light is going to be dark. I'm going to have to lift the exposure. Sorry about this, guys. So we lift the exposure a little. You can see that we have got some noise here, so this is where I would then use my noise reduction. So if you watch that noise, it just softens. So nice. I feel like she's a little pinky, so I'm going to bring that down. I'm going to cool the image down a little bit too. I might brighten it a little. Oh, sorry, that's too much. It, you know, considering it was a really dark space and my ISO was high, it doesn't even look really, you know, there is some noise, but it doesn't look bad. It still looks really beautiful. And if we compare, what a difference. Really nice. So we've got another Gold Now one next. So I'm just going to pop the Gold Now one on. I really want to crop this. Wow. Is it me or is that a one clicker? I want to crop it because they're not in the middle and I want to crop it at their knees. Maybe she's a bit pinky? I don't know. I'm a little fussy, you see. It's literally one click and let's see. Oh, I'm obsessed. That is just chef's kisses. I love that. So this one, I wanted to put it in to show you the colour of the wood and the tones. So again, I'm just going to use my main. I'm definitely going to use auto straighten because I know it's going to straighten this right up. There you go. And if we just compare that alone, nice, really nice. Next is a bridesmaid one. I underexposed as per, so I'm going to add my main, not my Gold Now, my main base. I'm going to increase the exposure because I underexposed. I want to drop the temp because it's obviously quite warm, but personally I wouldn't use orange skin fix on this because the bridesmaids are in orange, so you could affect the colours of the dress. So this is something where I'm going to use the temp to make their skin not so warm. If I show you, it's going to alter the dress colour. Yeah. I'm probably going to crop this because I don't like that there's not equal space each side of the bridesmaids. Even that, I might lift the shadows a little just because they've got some shadows on their faces. If we compare. Oh, looks good. Really good. Really makes it pop, doesn't it? So this one, I'm going to show you the black and whites on the next one. So black and white 1 is a little bit brighter than black and white 2. Black and white 1, the highlights and the whites are up and then they're down on black and white 2. So it really depends on the scenario and the light and the situation you're in, which is why there's both of them there. Again, I underexposed, so I need to lift the exposure. But if I show you, so number 2, number 1, the highlights and the whites are just up in number 1. I might add a little bit of grain. I do love grain in black and white. If I zoom in, you can see the grain here. And if I take it out, it's a much cleaner image. No grain. Grain. I'm going to leave it in. This one, we're going to go main base. I feel like it might be quite orange, this one. We'll see. Ooh. So I'm going to just drop the temp. Does anyone else love autumn? Since being a photographer, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with the colours and the tones. I'm going to brighten it a bit. If you perhaps thought her skin's still a little bit too orange for you, you could use the orange skin fix. If we look at her skin, really takes the oranges out. And if we compare, really nice. Still the beautiful oranges in the flowers, but her skin's just lost that orangeness. It's really nice. So this next one, I shot direct flash at night, so I would use my night flash. I'm not even going to tweak it, I'm just going to show you the difference. So we've got before and then after. It just adds that punch to a flash shot, doesn't it? Like, I don't really even think it needs much tweaking. You could potentially drop the shadows to darken behind. I don't really want to. You could put the highlights up. I felt like it was good as it was. Yeah, real nice. This one, I shot this. It wasn't golden hour. It was a couple hours before golden hour. I'd probably go main base. If we compare the two, golden hour will just be a little bit more warm. Sorry. So it depends what you want, but I'm probably going to go main base. I'm going to lift the exposure a little, but not a lot, because I like that moody vibe. I'm going to add some contrast, and I'm just going to warm it up a little. I think I like that. I like the whole moody vibe to it. Nice. And then finally, I put this one in because I felt like it had a little bit of everything. Sky, a little bit of green grass and sand. And again, I'm just going to pop the main on. Is it a one clicker? Ooh, it's a bit orange. So again, you can either drop the temp, or I bet if I do orange skin fix, it's going to bring their oranges in their skins. Ready? See, now look, they've got such creamy, nice skin colours now. But you could do it by just doing main and dropping in at the temp. But it's beautiful. Such nice colours. So yeah, I really hope this video has helped. You've had to listen to my editing brain and the journey that my brain goes on when I'm editing. But I just wanted to say, if you ever need any help, just let me know, and good luck with your editing.